Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. For today we're going to be making this super duper cute little birthday card using the Hippo Happiness bundle. It's so adorable. I just love it. And I love like the little balloons, and it's a little bit different from what I normally do. Normally I have like a focal image and then I have a sentiment. And for this one, the sentiment is kind of in the background. It kind of blends in and it doesn't stand out and pop out at you as far as like, hey, here I am, here's the sentiment, which I kind of like. I think it looks really cool. So let's jump into how to make this. Sorry, I'm looking for a place to put this so I can see my sample as we make this one. So like I said, we're going to be using the Hippo Happiness stamp set as well as the Hippo and Friends dies. If you haven't seen this die set, I mean the stamp set is adorable, but if you haven't seen this die set, I would highly recommend looking into it. Not only do you have dies that cut out some images from the stamp set, but you have really nice frames in here. I always look for stamp sets that are super versatile, and this one is definitely that. You don't even have to use it with the coordinating stamp set to get a lot of use out of it because you have all of those really good frames. So I want to start out by doing a bunch of stamping so that we can then do our die cutting and then just get rocking and rolling. So first thing that we are going to do is that's what I was trying to say, let's stamp our little hippo. So I'm going to put that piece off to the side for a second. So I'm going to use Smoky Slate ink, and you have two hippo images. You have, well actually maybe if I hold it over this you can see it a little bit better. So you have this one that I have on my left hand side, which is a full hippo image, and then you have this one that I have on my right hand that is basically the mouth is missing. The mouth area is missing. So we're going to start with the one that is the full image, and we're going to put this in Smoky Slate, and then I'm going to stamp this down, and then I'm going to stamp it a second time. And the second one is actually what we are going to use. See how much of a difference there is in color between the two? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a really light shade for the background, because then we're going to take our other stamp and stamp it on top of it, and you're going to get a really cool look, and your little hippo is going to come right to life. So I am going to try my best, and there's a hair on my stamp. I'm going to try my best to line these guys up. Just like that. That wasn't bad at all. I did pretty good. So now you can see we have that little two-toned hippo. Super, super adorable. I did forget to grab the other little stamp that's in this set. So we need this stamp here to do our little face for our hippo. So we'll get that one. I'm going to grab my stays on. And so this one, it's kind of funny. This kind of looks like a frog face to me. So you have like one row that has these two like half circles, and then you have another row that has like almost full circles and then the smile. The second row of those almost full circles, you want to line up with the two snout circles on the hippo. Just like that. And there she is. Super adorable, right? I love it. Okay. So there is image number one. We'll take that, set that off to the side. Now what we need to do, so we want to make our little hippo a girl, so we want to give her a bow, and then we also want to do all of these balloons. So my balloons, I used Magenta Madness, Pool Party, and Misty Moonlight. I already pre-stamped and cut out some balloons, so I'm just going to do one for you guys, and I'm going to do this one in Magenta Madness. I went ahead and did two of each color. On the card, I only used one of the Misty Moonlight though, but you can kind of mix it up, use whatever combination you want, and roll with it. And then I'm also, like I said, we want to do her little bow so we can turn her into a girl hippo. And so I'm also going to use Magenta Madness for the little bow. And then we're going to do some more stamping, but we're going to do some die cutting first. And let's get all of that die cutting out of the way. So we're going to bring in our little hippo again and our dies, and I'm going to go ahead and use some washi tape to secure these down, mainly because we have 3 different dies. I want to make sure they're going to stay put and I don't have to worry about all of them. So here, let's zoom in just a bit for you guys while we do this. So I just take a piece of washi. I put this on my chair to kind of get some of the stickiness going. And I'm just gonna line this bad boy up and then stick it down just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing with the little bow. Stick it down. Line it up, and then our little hippo as well. Oh, she's gonna be so stinking adorable. Just like that. Then I also have this other piece of Whisper White, and this one's a plain piece, and I have the die that is this background piece that our little hippo is going to go on. And so my scrap piece of Whisper White here is just big enough to cut out this piece here. It doesn't have anything on it, but I am going to run this through my Stampin' cut and emboss machine at the same time. Like I said, just to get all of my cutting out of the way at once. So let's bring this beauty in. And I'm going to make my little sandwich. So I have my 1 plate, my 2 plate, and my 3 plate. Stick those into the machine. Put all of my images. You're not going to be able to see all of them because I'm a little zoomed in right now. But I'm going to put all of the little images onto the cutting plate. And then I'm going to stick my second number 3 plate right on top. And crank all of them through. Pulling the sandwich out. Oh no, where did the little bow go? Okay, listen, it has to be here. It didn't just pop into thin air. But it's not here. What the heck? Oh my gosh, that's really gonna bother me. Where did it just go? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. I'm just going to do another one really fast, but I'm just very perplexed as to where that just went. Okay, I am back. I found the little bow, so we're all good to go. It was on the floor. I don't know. It must have like flung out of the die when I was moving the machine and pulling everything out. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So what I do know is that I want to move on to this little background piece and stamping the back of it. So what I want to do is kind of figure out where I want my little hippo to go. So I'll show you guys on my sample. So she's not totally centered up and down. She's a little bit further down from the center, and so I like that placement, so I'm going to keep that placement. And the main reason why I want to look at this is because if you look at this one, you can see that the hippo birthday is perfectly legible right under her, and I did that intentionally so that you did actually see, as a semi-focal point, you do see the whole sentiment there. So a very small detail, but I think it goes a long way, and so I wanted to make sure I did that same thing. So I have my stamp here. And I'm going to be alternating stamping in Magenta Madness and Misty Moonlight. I'm going to start with Misty Moonlight just because I want to, really. So I'm going to put these two here. Get them open and ready to go. I also have my Simply Chamois. Is that what this thing is called? I think it is. Simply Chamois? Stampin' Chamois? I don't know. But I have this, and you're not going to be able to see it in the frame, but I'm going to have it off to the side. And because what I'm going to do, and I'll show you guys, I'll do this with you, is I'm going to stamp one row at a time. And that way I know I get the right spacing. And so what that means is I'm going to stamp a row in blue, and then I'm going to stamp a row in pink, and then blue and pink and blue and pink. And between, as I alternate colors, I'm just going to wipe my stamp off really quickly. And so that I don't have to get everything out and like fully clean it every single time I do it. So like I said, we're going to start with Misty Moonlight. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer to me. I may have to zoom out just a smidge. I'm going to make sure this is straight so that I'm stamping this sentiment straight. And I'm going to do that right there. See? Now I can take my little hippo out of the way. Actually, let me zoom out just a smidge so that you guys can see this a little bit better. So now that is my centerpiece, and now I'm just going to build off of that. So what I'm going to do, and you can see I have a background piece here, I'm going to just stamp on either side of that. And honestly, this isn't going to go perfectly. It's not. That is a-okay. You just want it to be general. And I like to alternate where the sentiments go. So this one is centered right there. So I'm going to start the next row down a little off, so that it's not just like perfectly lined up every single time. And then, like I said, off to the side here, I'm just using my chamois to wipe off, and then I'm stamping on my background piece a couple times just to make sure I don't have any residual ink there. And then I am going to do this a couple times down here. You're not really going to see it, so it's not really that big of a deal. Use my chamois again, and then I'm just going to continue to do this up the sheet of paper. Okay, so that is how our little piece turned out. Super cute. You can see it's not perfect, but I will promise you once we put all of this stuff on top of it and there's other focal things, you probably won't even notice. So next what I want to do is take this little bow here, and it's so tiny, but take the bow and our little hippo, and whoa, something just happened in my drawer over here. I'm going to take a glue dot and my take your pick tool, and I'm going to, as usual, roll up my glue dot, stick it down there, woo, and then use my take your pick tool to give her a sweet little bow, just like so. Then what I'm going to do, and this is going to get a little crazy, actually, you know what? We're going to do something else really quick first. I'm going to take all of my little balloons here, and I'm going to flip them over. And I'm going to, let's use glue dots again because they're just easy. I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to put one glue dot on the back of each of the balloons, maybe. Okay. Just like this. And I promise I'll only show you guys one balloon. Actually, let's do that right now. I am going to, also I'll do the others off camera. I'll just show you guys how to do one of them. Let's zoom in so you can see a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to take one of these little balloons, and then I'm going to take some of this, this is from the Playful Pets, I think it's like ribbon combo pack, something like that. It's this twine, really, really fun. I am just going to cut a piece of this twine, and I'm cutting my pieces pretty long. Mainly I'm doing that just so I know I have enough. And I'm going to take the edge of the twine, and I'm just going to stick it right there in that glue dot. Just like so. So I'm going to repeat that for all 5 of my balloons. Okay, so I did the glue dot and the baker's twine to all of my little balloons, and then the last thing that I did was I took a mini glue dot and I put it right on top of where the baker's twine was. Why? I almost said thread. It's not thread, it's baker's twine. What I will say when you put your dimensionals down is make sure you really, really, really smush them down. Because you have the baker's twine behind them, they can get a little bumpy. And so I just feel like you really have to just give it a really good press, and then it lays relatively flat on there and works really well. So we're going to scooch those all off to the side. I'm going to zoom you guys out, and we're going to start putting this card together a bit and starting to see it come to life. So I'm going to take this piece here. This is from the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper stack. This is actually in our new mini holiday catalog, and you would think it's holiday paper. I mean, if you flip it over, you'd see that there are snowflakes, but I thought it was really cute. I thought it kind of represented the sky a bit. So like with the balloons and all of that, I thought it looked really, really nice. Why can't I get this working? There we go. Maybe. There we go. I thought it was just a really pretty pattern to use, whoops, with kind of this design. Man, I am struggling with our Stampin' Seal tonight, and I feel like I've been okay with it. I don't know what the deal is today. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down because we want this foundation ready to go as we build this card out. So next I'm going to take this little piece here that we stamped our little sentiments on, flip that guy over, and we're going to give him some Stampin' Seal also. And we're going to stick him right in the middle of this piece. Just like that. Now, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so hopefully you guys can see this a little easier. So what I'm going to do is I know relatively where I want my little hippo, right? Because I started my stamping right around where I wanted her. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal Plus and I am going to eyeball generally where her little head is. So the way that I do this is I actually grab this and and it's going to be a little hard for you guys to see on camera, so I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to position the start of my Stampin' Seal, ooh, I'm going to drop it first, where I want where her head is going to be. And then I'm going to remove it and I'm just going to do one little swoop. So I generally know where her head is going to be. Okay? Just like that, general area. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little balloons and I am going to peel the dimensional off of the back, and I'm going to think about where exactly I want them. So I think I want, this is going to be the longest one, so I want that. So I'm going to smush that down onto the, push the dimensional down onto the background, and then I'm going to pull taut the baker's twine and I'm going to smush that into that Stampin' Seal Plus that I just put on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with all of the other balloons. So I'm just going to kind of decide where I want them to be, how I want them to look. I'm just going to place it down and then smush the end in the adhesive. And it's just a really quick and easy way to get all of your balloons stuck down really nicely. Sometimes you do have to go back in and add a little bit more adhesive over here, but it gives you a really nice starting point to know where generally you might want to place your adhesive. And I'm actually going to group these balloons together a little bit more than I did in my sample, just because I think it'll look a little bit, I don't want to say better, but I think it'll just give it a different look. And then you can always take your little hippo too, if you're like, ooh, I don't know how that's going to look. And you can take her and you can kind of place her there and just see how it's going to look. That's always an option also. I'm going to squeeze this one in here just like that and smush that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little snips again and I'm just going to cut all of these little tails off. I will say this baker's twine is a little difficult to cut just because you have so many threads in there. It's not impossible, it just takes a couple little snips before you get it all done. And then as you can see, I'm really pushing that down to make sure those ends are nice and secure. Oh, I'm so excited. So we are almost done. Then we have our little hippo here. So we're going to take her and we're going to flip her over and we're going to give her some dimensionals too. And I know, me being the crazy dimensional lady, I'm actually going to use mini dimensionals on her little legs because they just fit ever so perfectly. Just like that. And then let's take all the backings off of these guys. Just like that. And then we will, I was just going to say snip, but we're not snipping. We're going to stick our little hippo down just like that. Ooh, and that's our card. I love this one. So let's go ahead, fold this baby in half. Give that a nice good crease there with our bone folder. And there she is, our little hippo card. I absolutely love this one. I think it's adorable. It's simple, but it's also a little complex to put it together. There are a lot of elements, but they just come together really nicely, and I think it looks so adorable. So I really hope you guys like this one. I loved it, and I loved putting it together. Whoa, what is happening? Sorry, I was having an issue with my little iPad thingy-madoodad that's right over there. So Anyway, as usual, you can find all of the products that I showed you guys today 24/7 just by going to littlemooncreation.stampinup.net. You can always see a bunch more projects and a bunch of details on not just this one, but on a bunch of other stuff on my website, which is littlemooncreation.com. You can also visit the coordinating blog post specifically for this project to see more details, which is the first link in the description box below. And other than that, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.